top players use these shortcuts. So how do you hold your pick? This video is important because it's not only going to save you years of practicing, it's also going to save you years of frustrating experience not being able to pick in the most optimum way. So when we are doing picking, let's just be very logical about this. Instead of, personal experiences, let's be scientific about it. What is it that you look at this like a robot, right? You got like a huge thing here that you can use to kind of position your hand within a 3D space, right? That's what the arm does. Has this little joint here, and I can move my hand around, right? So I use that first of all to place it. So I put my PC bone right there, where the low E string meets the bridge. So that's what it does. And then it might, help in assisting me in going slightly up and down like that, adjusting for what string I'm playing. But then what is the muscles of the underarm? What is this about, right? What is this about? What can this do? Well, it's still bigger than the fingers. The fingers naturally are the precision tools, right? Those can, make small, minute adjustments. They're very good at that. So if you're engraving a ring, you want to use mostly the muscles of your fingers because we're down to this kind of movement, right? This kind of stuff. That little adjustment thing. That's what they're good at. The hand isn't good at that. It's too big. It's right? It's smaller than the arm, right? But what the hand is good at is this. Is that circular motion. And then it can do a kind of a bigger movement. It can adjust the fingers. So the fingers has just the right position in relation to the string, right? It's good at that. And then it can do this, that circular movement. And this is the perfect picking motion. This. Sorry, you can, like this movement here. It's like a pendulum, right? Because you have the fingers going back and forth. They weigh something. So it's easier to get an even movement, that rotational thing. So that's what naturally what I'm going to select as my picking motion, right? When I get really down to picking very small, you can't see it anymore, but it's still the motion. If I enlarge or make this big like that, that's what happens. Down to this, you don't even see it. If I take these two fingers away, it's like you could almost think that I was doing but I'm not. See, the reason why this is such a good, because it's natural first of all, and you can do it very rapidly, right? Is also because it has that curve to it, right? Because I'm doing this, has that curve to it, and that curve picks one string and then goes just above the next string. So this is the string I'm picking right in the middle here. As soon as I do this, my pick is going up. So I can do the string shifting in this way because instead of going like this, then I have to slant my pick like that to go up, across to the next string. I have to do all kinds of quick fixes that's going to hurt me immensely in the future, or angling, slanting, angling, all that crap, sorry. Instead, I can just do this, which is the most optimal way of doing it, which is the easiest way of doing as well, right? And then my pick simply avoids the next string by going out and in towards the string I'm picking and out from the next string. So when I'm doing a string shift, all I need to do is move my hand just a little bit, right? Just need to move my hand just a tiny bit. So that's great. Well, what do the fingers do then? This is where most people really, because we can do a lot of things to try and get results faster. And it works to some degree, right? So, hey, I'm picking, right? I did the arm thing now. Oh, it's easier to get an even picking movement with the arm moving, but it's like this. It's an axe movement. How am I going to get to the next string? Oh, that's a problem. Also, I tense up, and it's a huge, muscle to use for something as delicate as picking a string, right? So how do I get to the next string? Well, if I do this, what if I lean back like that? Then I'm picking the string like this a little bit. So now I'm avoiding the next string coming up. Imagine the strings being here, and I'm picking with the whole arm. So in order to get to the next string and avoid that next string and get to it, I can turn my arm like that. I can angle my pick and then go in, pick the next string, move my pick like that. Ugh, right? And it's just like you're trying to fix something that's broken from the beginning. This here fixes everything. It's still, when it comes to alternate picking, the reason why we come up with all these quick fixes is because alternate picking is, it is the technique that demands the most repetitions of you. And 1 million repetitions is the entrance door to get to alternate picking. 1 million repetitions of doing something like this. Right? Once you did 1 million repetitions, or 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with accents on the first note, right? Do 1 million repetitions of that. Now we have started. Now this is the start of mastering alternate picking. And if you think 1 million is like, that's not possible for me, then don't go for speed picking when it comes to alternate picking. Learn something else, legato, hammer-ons and pull-offs. But because we don't see how much it really requires of us, how many accurate, relaxed repetitions it requires of us, then we think we should have results faster. And so the brain goes, hey, I must be doing something wrong, right? And so we try all kinds of crazy stuff. And all that crazy stuff is all over YouTube, right? In angling and slanting and all kinds of, And top players use these shortcuts. And they, because, they did the same thing, right? And so we look at the top players and say, he's pretty good. But really, if you notice, don't follow anyone who does really good alternate picking without hearing them with clean sound, or preferably on an acoustic guitar, because so many things get lost in that distortion sound. So that's one discussion for itself. So what are the fingers then doing? Well, the fingers are adjusting the pick in relation to the string. Because when we're talking about alternate picking, you need to pick in the surface of the string. That's how to get to that. Yeah. I'm almost not even touching the string. But when I'm playing fast, then because of that speed, then the pick hits the string with a great amount of speed, and that creates a loud sound. But because I'm picking in the surface, it doesn't get like, right? Sorry. Right? So I'm picking in the surface, but in order to do that, I need the full mobility of my fingers in the equation. If I don't have that, because I'm doing this is what I see so many people do. You have your thumb like that, and then you have your pick sticking out from the side of the thumb. You have your index finger kind of curved like that. Now you have zero mobility. Now you have effectively made the fingers a rigid extension of your hand. So you just lost all the details you could have had by holding the pick like that, right? Like this, between 2 fingers. Your brain will figure it out when you just say, okay, 2 fingers, that's enough. I used to hold it like that with 3 fingers. That also completely stifles the mobility of your fingers. 2 fingers like that. Because now I can really adjust minutely. A tenth of the millimeter is the difference between an accent and just picking it. Accuracy is the way to speed, right? So the correct way, or the best way, the number one best way of, that won't hurt you, that won't get you frustrated over your picking technique or make you shameful even. I see it in the eyes of some, even top players when they, interviewed, talk about alternate picking skills. And I see the fact that they do not think that they have their alternate picking skills at the highest level, and they know it, right? So if you want to go all the way, the reason why I say that is not to put anybody down, but just to choose who you follow. Choose your role models when it comes to picking very carefully, or you get the same ailments as they do, right? So in order to pick in the surface, I need the full mobility of my fingers. You can't even see that. You can slow this down and do all the close-ups in the world completely like that. It won't change the fact that you cannot see this at that minute. You can't. You see that when you slow it down and you see it like that. And you won't see the minute little differences, and you cannot. It's not possible. So slow-mo all you want, close-up all you want, it's not going to help you. You need to use an approach that says, okay, how do we make a robot arm do this motion in the most accurate way possible, the most effective way possible? And there is no way around it. This arm is just for positioning. This hand is for making those picking motions happen. These fingers are for making the minute adjustments you need to pick in the mere surface of the string, and then to make the accents happen by just adjusting just a tiny bit. You can't see it. It's not possible to see. I hope I'm making myself clear here. And I hope you'll take this to heart and hold your pick like this. Okay then, go subscribe and go watch one of the videos that's popping up on the screen here, and I hope to see you in another video.